Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means that it is I was going to say Soul Sunday, but that's on Sunday. Duh. It's the Friday Funnies with lots of love from Jodi. As you all know, Jodi is our admin, and we love to dedicate this back to her because she does all the research to bring us lots of fun things on a Friday. Before we get on to that, just to let you know, if you're watching for the first time, welcome. Feel free to watch or join in. Just know that if you join in, the video recording actually stays up on YouTube. And so if you are going to say something and you don't want me to repeat it, please just put that in there, don't repeat. Or I will probably try and check with you if I think it's something that you might not want to have repeated. Just to have a heads up, and just a reminder to everybody on that one. But I thank you for the regulars who come in and laugh with us. We love it. Good to see you there, Isabel and Sandy and Jodi, of course. And so the other thing is, if you haven't already, please subscribe here and then hit the little bell thing. And the reason to hit that is it's going to ask you, do you want the notifications? And the answer is yes, you want all of them, because that means every time that I do a broadcast, if you want to laugh and smile and learn, then you will be advised. And that's a really nice way to remember. I also would recommend following DearMamaSal on Facebook and on Twitter, because that is where I put up a 30-minute warning. Normally 35, but today was 30, a 30-minute warning that I'm about to go live. So I do what I can just to give you a heads up, so it gives you enough time to grab something to drink and some snacks if that's what you do. The other thing is, how you choose to listen to us is up to you. We know that some people take the time to just sit and enjoy. Others listen and do some sort of task work while they're listening. In other words, something that they want to get done, and they just listen while they do it. Maybe tidy up a drawer or do something, so that not only have they learned something and laughed a bit, but also that they have achieved something. So that's a lovely way. And then there are others who actually keep the broadcasts and listen to them. That's gonna. I got hair falling out. And listen to them at night as they fall asleep, which is a very clever way to listen to things, because it ends up still going into your brain and you still get benefit, funny enough. You might not remember it, but you do actually still get benefit. So big thanks to everyone. Before I forget, I wanted to hi, Beth, good to see you. I wanted to give a heads up and congratulations to Marcy and Mike. I believe it's their 25th wedding anniversary. Isn't that beautiful? And that special celebration came to me via Jodi, and apparently Marcy and Mike did an awesome job of supporting Jodi at one stage in her life when she was going through grief. And we love people like that, right? That can do that for people. So for those of you who also don't necessarily know, we are a group of people who act like an extended family for one another. And what we have specialized in, if you like to think of it that way, is to help each other grow and learn and laugh and not be alone. And it's a very important thing in life. So to all of you who join in, my personal thanks to you all for the work that you do. All right, so now then, I promised this evening that I would show you guys how to make your own dishwasher tabs. I've been making mine for the longest time, and I guess I should start with a disclaimer and say, this is how I do it. Please do your own research on the ingredients and everything, and to make sure you've got what is right for your machine. I also found it interesting that what worked in my previous machine with the water that was there didn't work as well here, where I've got hard water. So remind me to tell you about that added ingredient. Okay, so how I make these is very easily, because it's me. And how I make these is I don't measure, because that is me. So if you are an anal person, you know, there's somebody who does everything perfectly and need measurements, then obviously Google is your person, not me. But at least what I hope I'm going to do is inspire you to make some anyway, because you're going to save an awful lot of money. What is the going price for dishwasher tabs? Okay. I still do use them. I use these just as a matter of interest, which I think are the best that there are. But these, I'm not sure how much they cost. Jodi is probably checking it while I talk. But I only use these on what I call high days and holidays. If I really have a totally full load and it's got grease and all sorts of garbage on it, then I will use one of these. But for what I call just the regular day-to-day, I use the ones that I make for myself. Okay. So what you need, very simple, you need something into which to put the mixture. I use these little ice cube trays because they're perfect. You know, they come out this size. I've also used a smaller one, a round one. I also make smaller ones just for when I'm doing a very small load. Okay, it's all about saving money. So now, so you need something into which to put them. The ingredients I use are borax, and I use, I've got a feeling it's not Dawn in here. It says Dawn on the front, but something tells me this is watered down palm olive. So some sort of dishwashing liquid. And by the way, the reason this is watered down palm olive in a Dawn container is because whenever I get a brand new dishwashing thing, I will put 1/3 of it into another container, which is this one, and then fill it up with water. And I've got news for you, that works really well. And again, if I've got something that's really dirty, I will use the full strength one. But for most of the time, taking just 1/3 of it and filling it up with water works beautifully. Okay, so you need some sort of dishwashing liquid, but not too much. And remember, mine is watered down. And I like to add some lemon juice to mine for two reasons. Number one, it helps cut grease. And number two, it smells nice. Okay, so now, very difficult, guys. You also need something into which you should mix and something with which to stir. Now, the first thing I want to warn you about is that when you pour liquid into borax, it heats up. Don't know why. It's one of those technical things that I haven't researched right now yet, but and then I'm just sort of trying to get rid of the, you know, borax, I'm trying to get a lot of clumps in it. So the first thing I do is just get rid of the major clumps. Not all of them, but you know what I call just the biggest ones. And that's why I like to use a fork, because it will just squash out most of them. Okay, so now that's what I've got. Okay, so Jodi's done the research. Well done, thank you, Jodi. That little packet, what did I do with it? Put it away? Oh, here it is. This is 1750 in the US, so it's even more in Canada. So you get an idea. And this is, yeah, Isabel and I know how expensive things are here in Canada. All right, so you understand, just get the lumps out of it, big ones. Now we're going to add the liquid, which is the watered down soap. But remember, it's going to feel warm. Don't get it, yeah, be prepared, not scared. So how much do I put in? I put in some. And some looks like that. And then it goes hard almost immediately. It's an interesting thing as well. So I mix it in a little bit. Okay. And it starts to clump up and do all sorts of funny things. So I'm now going to put some more. And I mix it up some more. You see how it's clumping up? Okay. And mix it in as best that I can. Smells good already. And that's going pretty well. So now I'm going to add some lemon juice. Some. Remember this. Some. Oh, by the way, it's heating up now. So maybe it's the lemon that does it. The mixture of borax and lemon. Okay. How difficult is it so far, guys? Well, say hi to the date, whose name I can't remember for this moment. And I know I should. Nice to see you, Sharon. Jerry. Okay, thank you very much, Jodi. All right, so now all I've done is mix it up. This is rocket science, people, really difficult. Okay, and now what I'm doing is I'm just sort of flattening it out as I mix it as best I can. Still some dry at the bottom, but you get the idea. I don't have to be perfect about this because I'm just showing you. All right, and now comes the really difficult bit. I just don't want to get lemon type juice on this countertop, so that's why I'm just getting something to protect the countertop. And here is the really difficult part. You then take some, like a teaspoonful, and you hack it into the mold. And you take a bit more and hack it into the next mold. And then you hack a bit more in to the next one. And then, oops, the next one, oops. I'm just trying to see what Bernice told me, so I'm going to have to check in a minute, because I couldn't see, I wasn't close enough. Okay. All right, so roughly hack that in. And then what I do is I just take a knife and scrape it off and just press it in. And I leave it for a week. How difficult was that? Now I'm not going to do the next bit just because I don't have to. I just want to get the bits off my countertop here. And after a week, you just pop them out and there they are. Cost, okay. Jodi, how much does, yeah, it's just, I use it as dish detergent. Sharon's got distracted from the date. Now then, here's the thing I wanted to just give you a heads up on. Remember I said to you that depending on how hard your water is, you know, it changes, right? So I find that here I use a little more soap of the liquid soap than I did at the previous house, and also I have hard water. So if you have hard water, you don't want to be, you actually need to use vinegar. But you don't want to be using vinegar in the container. You know, the little thing, the hole in the where you put the detergent. So here's what I found out, and it works like a dream. You take your vinegar, and this is just regular cheap white vinegar. And what I do is I put about an inch, 3/4 of an inch maybe, even half an inch in this container. And I put this like this on the top rack. And this is if you've got hard water, and hard water causes those mineral stains on your glasses and things. And I literally just put this on my top rack and leave it. And then when the wash is finished, this obviously is full of water because the water's been splashing in and out of here. So I just take the water and huck it into my sink, and then the next time I put another half inch in. Okay. Now, seriously, how difficult is that, and how expensive is that? I'm not sure how much borax costs in your neck of the woods, but you may want to check that out. It's not an expensive item. Where do you get borax will be the next question. Any aisle where you've got washing soaps and stuff will have borax. And it's also a natural deodorizer and detergent booster. So I also use it to make my own clothes washing stuff. All right, and this is watered down, so you know that's El Cheapo. And how much time did it take? Seriously, I did enough. Right, I made 6 of them in a matter of minutes. And by the way, I've got enough for another, I would say another dozen at least in here. So, and quite honestly, if you prefer, he's off the phone. Okay, goodbye, Joe. And bye, Sharon. You can actually just leave it like this if you want to. And just use it by the teaspoonful or whatever if you prefer that. It depends on your personality. You know, I believe you make things so they suit you, not other people. And you've got to admit that wasn't very difficult. Any questions? Borax is very expensive in the States. Apparently it's a whole $4.69. How many of these do you think you can make out of one of those? By the way, when I was doing the storage shopping, one of the first things I got was another box or 2 of borax. Why? Because that is something that I want to make sure I can continue to have. Even though it lasts me a long time, I've got 1 box now and another box standing by. So here we go. And that's really lemon juice. You know, either just squeeze some out of a lemon if you like that, or if you buy it like this, just a good squidge. A very technical term, a squidge. All right, what do you think? Let's have some feedback. Do you have any questions? What can I do? Or shall I just not bring you these little tips? Oh, fantastic from Jodi. Okay. So I'm just trying to think for those people. Do I make mine for washing my clothes as well? Yep, I have very simple way of doing that. Do you have an HE machine or a regular one, Isabel? Okay, my question is, did it make you smile? You know, it's like, you knew it couldn't be that difficult. Sal does it. Okay, so next week I will do the clothes washing one. All right. Now it's going to upset me that there's so much junk there, so I'm just going to move some of this out of the way, and I can tidy it up after the broadcast. While I'm tidying up, for those of you who missed lunchtime, we did a really fun broadcast at lunchtime, which started off by talking about how you help people who may have lost a job. through this pandemic. And we evolved into all sorts of things. So, but people got really quite into it. So I was very happy. If your dishwasher needs extra cleaning, the actual dishwasher itself, Beth, our cleaning expert, Beth, says just put a quarter of a cup of straight borax at the bottom and run the dishwasher. Yeah. You see, or you can buy the stuff, Beth, that gets sold for a fortune to do it. Right? You and I, we just tuck in the borax and let it do its thing. All right, Nyasha. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. So you guys like these substitutions? Yeah, I don't either, but it's like I've made my own rinse aid forever. But my rinse aid did not work here because the water here is so hard. But now I've learned how to do it. I just do it a different way. So. And we will keep doing little updates for you on things that we've discovered. So if any of you got any tricks of the trade like this that you want to share, feel free to let me know so I can demonstrate them for people and give you credit. All right, but remember, do your research, 1,001 different recipes online. Oh, that's wonderful. Next week, Beth is going to share her recipe for laundry soap. Okay, good. You can do that. Is yours an HE one or a non-HE? Because I was thinking if yours is an HE one, then none. Okay, so awesome, Beth. I'm just trying to, so Beth's going to share that. So what I'm saying is if you can share it with me, then what I will do is if I've got the ingredients, I'll put it together. All right. If I haven't got the ingredients, then we'll talk about it as long as you're here. And my backup will be if you are not here for any reason, I will just show them how I've been making mine. And the chances are it'll work. By the way, I found it was a great gift to give people for a Christmas present. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, here you go. Here is free dishwashing powder. Or here you go. This is free laundry soap for your HE machine.
These are the top results.
I triggered the thing in the, never mind. All right, so let's get on to the laughs for the day. Since we've got all that, I just want to make sure I've done, where did I put the birthdays? Birthdays, who's on the 9th? Seriously, I'm going to have to look that up again. I know we've got one on June 9. Anna Marie has a birthday on June 9. However, June 9 is also significant for us because on that day, Jodi celebrates 5 years of being cancer-free. Isn't that wonderful? And by the way, on the 26th, Jodi and Lionel have their wedding anniversary. How many years is it, Jodi? Yeah, cameo by Alexa. Actually, it was whatever's in the tablet. It wasn't. No, it wasn't. You know who? 20 years. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so Beth's going to send me the recipes. Thank you, Beth. And let me know if it's your original recipe or if you managed to find it online or something, just so that I give the proper credit to it. And then if you're not here, and what I will do is I will try and then see if I've got the ingredients, and if I have, I'll make it as you talk it through. If I don't, then we will just talk about it. How's that? If for any reason you can't be here, let me know, and I'll just go ahead and do my best. Okay, and how many of you like hearing things like this, right? Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that you are prepared and not scared. Prepared to start making your own stuff because you might not be able to get it. And so the thing is to be prepared to have those ingredients on hand. Send it on Monday. Thank you. So, and I'll let you know, Beth, if I need anything else. And Yasha's saying, I don't go and do the shopping, so I have got no clue what the prices are in my local supermarkets. But knowing that we can cut down on financial expenses while being creative is a definite for me, yes. Now, you know something, Nyasha? I don't know whether you know this, but you actually inspired me this week. Do you know that you did? Let me tell you why. If you notice, I've got things growing in the bottom half of my big window here, and it's got a couple of brackets. Anyway, it's got a couple of brackets here and here for a second shelf. And I'm thinking, normally I would go somewhere and have them cut me a piece of glass that big. And I'm going, yeah, but I'm not going anywhere. So what can I do? And I thought, well, what is it Nyasha taught me? So Nyasha, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut two strips of cardboard to give it some strength to go across there, and a couple of strips vertically to give it strength that way. And so that's on my project list at the moment. But I will probably put them together and then paint them so that they're white rather than cardboard, because, you know, nobody's going to know, right? And so I just wanted to thank you there, because I was, you know, when I was sitting there looking at it, and I'm thinking, I need a shelf there. And then I thought, wait a minute, what does Nyasha do when she needs storage? She makes it out of cardboard. So, and you know, I've got a stack of cardboard sitting outside, right, from all the boxes. I don't have a shortage of cardboard. And so I've taken the measurements, and I will be making them. Now, the other thing that I thought might make you smile is, what did I do with it? Hang on. My neighbors are just redoing part of their garden, and I decided I'm going to paint them a pet rock. So I'm going to put this into, get it really clean. I've had it soaking a bit, but I'm going to carry on. Yeah, I can cover it with contact paper so it doesn't look like cardboard, but I've also got a load of paint. So I could, number one, I could just paint it white and it would match my kitchen, Beth. Or being me, I might even throw, you know, some of my fancy painting stuff and make a very, very unusual but very creative shelf. You know, maybe out of black, red, and white. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, Nyasha, is I've got industrial strength sort of anyway, but I was thinking 2 layers of it should be strong enough, especially if it's supported underneath. And it will basically be for the small seedlings. I won't put very heavy things on there. How many of you are going, did that make you smile? I hope so. All right, here we go with Jodi's specials for the week. The first one, once I pay my rent, please don't ask me to come out because I'm getting my money's worth. By the way, it is my prediction that within a year, the cost of your rent, for those of you who rent, will probably go down. Watch out for the sun, heat from the window. It might melt the paint. That's called an experiment, Beth. If it does, then I'll cover it with contact paper. Win-win. But, you know, there's part of me going, oh, it's an experiment. And it does get pretty hot in there, I must admit. I had to move my orchids out of that area because for the summer, it's too hot. In the winter, it's fine. And for those of you who didn't see this beautiful orchid that, hi, good on you too, Farmer, good to see you. And Tracy too, if she's near you, love you both. But, you know, this incredible plant that he bought me for Mother's Day. So it's here, but it's not in full sun. It's getting a little bit of sun. Okay. Now, I know that this one must have really pleased Jodi when she found it. My room isn't messy. It's an obstacle course designed to keep me fit. How many of you relate to that one? I can see Jodi going, oh, Sal's going to love that. I actually do that. I don't know if you heard that, but I actually will put obstacles in my house that I have to walk over. And part of that is to keep me fit. Yes, hi, Becca. Good to see you as well. So, it's a really interesting thing to do. And, you know, it's funny. I've started to do 10 minutes a day of yoga. At the moment, I'm just doing 10 minutes because that's about what my body can take. And what I'm finding, what I've found out already in just the 2 days I've been doing it, is that my hip rotation seems to, if your hips are meant to be straight like this, mine appear to be doing this. And that's probably why I've got the problems that I have. How do I know that? Because of the exercises I did today were on a chair, and they just said, sit on a chair and put your knees together. And guess what? When I put my knees together, that is not the way I normally sit. I can feel the strain of moving those muscles so I can sit with my knees together. All right? So I'm going already, this has been worth it because I can, and if you want to know, actually stand up straight, put your knees together, and put your hands behind your back and feel which muscles don't like that. I found that a very interesting exercise. Put your ankles together, your knees together, and then your hands behind your back, because that pushes you back to straight. And then work out which muscles don't like that. And if you can, every now and then, when you walk through a door frame, stand against the door frame with your heels, your butt, your shoulder blades, and your head against the door frame. That'll tell you what you need to know. So Jodi, definitely mission accomplished on that one. I loved it. This next one is one of those ones that she knew would absolutely get my imagination going. And therefore, that's why I'm laughing before I read it. The next time a stranger talks to you when you're alone, just look at them, shocked, and whisper, "You can see me?" I love it. Oh, definitely mission accomplished on that. You can see me? Oh, definitely Jodi was on a roll this week. Listen to this one. I had a hen who could count her own eggs. She was a mathematician. Probably not a good idea that I'm wiping my eyes with the same hands that have been using borax and lemon juice and stuff without washing them since then. Okay. We'll try the Kleenex instead. The richer you, oh, by the way, just so we're clear, I do highly recommend that, you know, we talked about this once, but I just want you to know that when I use a paper towel, after I've used it, I throw it in my washing up bowl. And then at night, I hang them over my faucet. I've got a extended faucet here. One of these things here. I hang it over there to dry overnight. And I've probably cut down my use of paper towels by 3/4. And you wash paper towels, yeah, and dry them. They dry overnight beautifully. And I just stick them in an old coffee tin, as you can see. And then whenever I need paper towel, I just pull it out of here. So another way to save an awful lot of money, people. How about this one? The richer you get, the more expensive happiness becomes. The richer you get, the more expensive happiness becomes. I was thinking back to can any of you remember your first job? I remember my first job in Africa, where I shared an apartment with 3 other people. I think I paid $200 a month. I had a mattress on the floor. And I'm thinking about it. I can remember living in London before that with about 3 other people in half the space, and walking to the laundromat in my high heels. I remember that I was probably 18 or something. I must have looked really stupid, because we hadn't come to the fact that we were allowed to wear runners by then. It took a lot longer. When did we start wearing runners and not worrying about it? Must have been in the 60s, I would think. Anybody know? Runners, sneakers. Yeah, Becca, that's because that's what you did. If you went out, you were wearing heels. And I was wearing heels, it was the 60s. I was wearing high-heeled boots above my knees, and a pantsuit. So believe you me, yeah, very high heels we had in those days. At least 3 to 4 inches. So, and carrying my laundry with me. Yeah. I loved it, Jodi, this one. I followed my heart and it led me to the fridge. I was saying that yesterday I did such a good job controlling my carbs. I really did. I got all the way to midnight and then something happened. I don't know what happened, but the next thing is I had a bag of chow mein, dry noodles in my hand. And luckily there was only a third of it left, because that's what I ate, a third of a bag. Becca's going, you're probably the most fascinating person I've ever known. Well, Becca, how kind of you. Thank you. I think that's a compliment. Beth saying, I bet that wrecked a lot of people's feet. Yes. Most of us have got toes that don't go straight. Most of us have got toes that go like this, because they were pinched into they were very pointy, very high heels in those days. I believe you me. I remember it well. My feet remember it well. All right, now how about this one? This is clever. Again, I know she knows I will love this. So remember when you were little and you'd fall while you were on the trampoline, and everybody would keep jumping up and down so you couldn't get back up? That's adulthood. That is so clever, Jodi. Such a good visual, right? Now, you've all heard this expression, dance like nobody's watching. Which is what you normally see when you go to a wedding, right? There's bound to be one person or two that are dancing like they don't care. you know, and people are watching. Anyway, so dance like nobody's watching because they're not. They're all checking their phones. Isn't that sad that is the truth today? This one, Jodi, can you remind me to send this next one to Manon? When somebody told me I lived in Fantasyland, I nearly fell off my unicorn. Wow, it's interesting. Jodi's saying Google said wearing sneakers to work became popular in the 90s. All right, it wasn't the 60s. Now, we went bare feet a lot in the 60s, now that I think about it. Um, yeah, that's funny, isn't it? We wore those tie-dye clothes in 60s and 70s, sort of tied in the 60s. I think we were into the hot pants and Mary Quant type stuff. The 70s, we totally rebelled, right? And we were doing the flower children thing with the tie-dye and long skirts and yeah. Flowers in our hair on our way to San Francisco. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice memories. I love those days. Yeah, I thought it was a Manon quote. So let's, if you remind me, I'll send it to her. Um, how about this one? What if soy milk is just regular milk introducing itself in Spanish? You're all going, no, it comes from a soybean. Yeah, and apparently, Jodi, you are our go-to person on this one, but and also Beth, because Beth is very knowledgeable on this stuff. I did hear some not too flattering things about eating a lot of soy. So just to be, maybe some of you know more about it than I do. And this is the next quote while we're waiting for that information to come back to us. I always give 100% at work. That's 12% on Monday, 23 on Tuesday. I do a full 40 on a Wednesday because that's hump day, and then 20% on Thursday. And I'm down to 5% left on Friday. Okay, so soy is terrible for women. It increases cancer risk. That's what I thought, Jodi. Somewhere in the back of my brain, I was thinking soy milk isn't that good thing. However, Jodi, almond milk is okay, right? Did I order soy milk or almond milk? Okay, well, it's one thing's not going to kill me, I guess. Target, the Target cashier to a customer says, "Did you find everything you were looking for?" And the customer says, "First of all, I wasn't looking for any of this." How many of you have done that? You go into the store to get, the Heinz 57 tomato ketchup or whatever you call it in your land. You come out with a whole buggy full of stuff that you didn't want. Yeah, that's me. I actually, something, I used to, because I love experiments, right? I used to experiment how much, those little carts that are like a basket with wheels on that you pull. I used to do experiments to see how much I could fit into one of those little baskets. Or they also in my supermarket used to have a half buggy, not a full one, but a half one. That and I used to I used to see just how much I could stack into one of those. If you're clever with your stacking, you will be amazed what you can fit in. Hello to Devon. Good to see you, Devon. All right, so Devon's telling us that almond milk, coconut milk are both good for you. I think Jodi also said that. Jodi said cashew milk is good for you as well. And Sandy's telling us that from what she's learned, that has been debunked. That's the bad news about soy. I don't have the sources for that right now. Okay, well, find it out for us, Sandy, and let us know, and we'll update everybody. Yeah, I love those half buggy ones myself, I must say. And Katie, good to see you as well. All right, and Katie, yay! Round of applause for Katie. She just got a new job. Are we allowed to know what it is? And if if no, that's okay. Just pass. Um, do I run? Yeah, out of time, out of patience, and out of money. There's a misspelling there, Jodi, in that one. Don't know where you found it, but go back and tell them that they misspelt the patience on that one. You got a job in holistic and natural medicine. That's just up your street. That is so good. You are looking magnificent, Katie. I must tell you that. You already know that, I know, but you are, I look at the pictures of you and it brings a great smile to my face. All right, so Sandy's saying that she will look into that for us. Her kids drink soy milk and other plant-based milks don't offer as much protein. Myself, I prefer the taste of cashew. See, we're going to learn all sorts of things. But here is the thing. Am I correct that those milks cost way more than your average milk? Okay. It's the same thing. Buying almond flour costs 10 times the price of normal flour. And that is because we're not buying it in bulk. It's sort of a specialty food. So find what you like. Yep, they cost more. Yeah, that's what I thought. But the thing is this, if you enjoy it, now the thing is this, if you want to see, you can make your own almond milk and your own cashew milk. It's not that difficult. Oh, Katie drinks oat milk from rolled oats. Interesting. Wonder if it creates foam. My whole life is right. Does that create foam? Because if it does, I'll consider it. So, what oat milk is wonderful. Well, hello. Can I have more info, please? Don't just throw that. I got oats coming out of my gazoos here. I bought Dirty Great Bag. And you use coconut milk coffee creamer. No, I don't want coffee creamer. I want foam. Oat milk has more carbs, but I eat oats every day. I am. This is not it, but I make a milkshake every day. Of my first meal of the day is Metamucil because that's good for me, and oats, and I grind those all up, and then a cup of milk, and then a load of ice, and I drink that. That's my breakfast drink. Okay, which foams well, Sandy? We've talked about too many for me to remember now. The oat milk, really? Okay, so I just soak the oats and then just turn it into a milk? Somebody give me some instructions here. Oh, well, Mr. Google will tell me, I'm sure. When someone yells stop, I don't know whether it's the name of love, it's hammer time, or should I smell the flowers? Stop in the name of love. Got that? Stop. I don't know whether it's in the name of love. Stop in the name of love. Yeah. Or whether it's hammer time or whether I should smell the flowers. That's very cute. Oat milk foams. Yes. Whole new experiment coming up this week, Sandy. You know how I love my experiments. By the way, for those of you who weren't here at lunchtime, I'm experimenting with growing lettuce in wine glasses, little terrariums at the moment. I'm just trying to see how big it will grow in a terrarium. It brings me pleasure, you know that. And this one I'm really enjoying. This is all butter lettuce, And I want to actually grow butter lettuce as my indoor plant this winter. And for those of you who met Tommy last week, he's growing very nicely, thank you. And Benny the Bean is doing a great job. I've just put a new sticker on him here because he grew from here to here in 1 week. It's pretty good, isn't it? So I just dropped a new sticker on there, Jodi, for you. And he's growing with this much, not very much soil. I had to have a little bit of research today. Between the two broadcasts, I'm going, I wonder how tall it's going to get. And it said, well, if it's a climbing one, it can go to 10 feet. And if it's a bush one, it'll only go up about 2 feet. Now, I don't know about you, but it's, hang on. All right, so he's already up to 17 inches. Now, I know what you're asking me. How do you know? How do you know if it's a bush one or a climbing one? We're going to find out. I may need a bigger base for this, though, just because, yeah. Anyway. All right, here we go. Devon, by the way, where are you from? Welcome. They say if you snooze, you lose, which means I start every morning failing because multiple times in those 9-minute intervals. How many of you relate to that one? Shut up. Now, I can remember I did it once and I forgot that it was Friday. And I hit the snooze button, too many times. It only snoozes so many times. And one day I hit it and then I nearly missed a broadcast because of it. It's just like, luckily I woke up. All right, now this is an explanation to all the men out there. It's what I call female speak, okay? Nice one, Jodi, by the way. You see, I don't call it nagging. I call it, why don't you listen to what I said the first time? Because if you did, I wouldn't have to nag you. That is true. Devin is from Zion, Illinois. I have never heard of Zion. Yeah, I liked it too, Katie. Okay, hang on a second. Somebody give me, I think I know where Illinois is. I'm from Canada, so I'm geographically challenged to start with. But where, would that be northeast, center, south, where? I'll look it up. Jodi, remind me to look it up, please, because I've never heard of that before. I got to know where it is now. Dear LOL, thank you for being there for me all those times that I never had something else to say. Any of you done that? You get some sort of weird comment from somebody and you're going, yeah, right. Just, pretend it was funny. I like that. By the way, we discovered, have you guys all discovered the Facebook avatar thing? It's northeast. Thanks, Devon. Northeast of Illinois. Okay. You see, northeast is that way. So, well, when you're looking at me, never mind. Northeast, not northeast, northeast. Okay, that's halfway between north and east, right? All right. So we found out how to do the avatars, and Becca's saying that she loves mine. I thought it looked quite like me. I was quite surprised. Let me see if I can find some for you. All right. Oh, hang on a second. I can't do that. I've sent some to the girls. Maybe I can do it there. Let me see. Hang on. The twins and I talk in avatars and stuff. You know, it's quite cute. Can I expand on that? Oops. So this is the thank you one. Oops. Where did it go? Sorry. Difficult to do that way. Anyway, it's really great fun. 2 towns. Okay, that's interesting. Devon's telling me that Zion is 2 towns down from Wisconsin. Okay. See, I'm going to learn a lot today. All right. But anyway, so if you haven't tried the Facebook avatar, it is fun to do, and it's surprising how good it looks. Ah. Jodi, can I throw some? No, we'll do it another time. We got other things to do today. I get distracted way too easily, don't I? But that's part of who I am. This is a special one for those of you who get it. Adulting, being an adult, is soup. And I am a fork. So much falls through the cracks, right? I thought that was really cute. Yeah, now this one, some of you are really going to relate to this one. I am multitasking because I can listen, ignore, and forget all at the same time. Anybody relate? And by the way, if any of these are making you smile, thank Jodi, because she has such fun putting these together. Yeah, Niesh, I understand that she's telling me how to do a screenshot, but it just takes too much time right now. All right, Jodi is now giving us instructions on how to make the oat milk. Simply add 1 cup of rolled oats and 4 cups of water to a high-speed blender and blend on high for 30 to 45 seconds. Then strain it through a clean t-shirt or towel for the best results. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. Maybe even tonight. Wow. And if it works. Okay, Jodi, have another look for us. How that can't be that much worse than anything else in terms of carbs, right? All right, so some of you will like this one. I always try to cheer myself up by singing when I get sad. Most of the time, it turns out that my voice is worse than my problems. I, I did a big boo-boo this week. Did anybody else? You see, I'm trying not to be anything but a normal neighbor in my new environment, in my new place. And I was out doing the pots and pans things at 7 o'clock the other night, and a lady told me that she was from a certain small town, about 4 hours away from me. And without thinking, I said, I wrote a book there. Once those words have run across your tongue and left your mouth, you can't them back in again. And all I knew is that these 6 women all turned, because there were 6 of us with pots and pans, and they all turned and looked at me and said, "You wrote a book there?" I think actually it got worse than that. I said I spent 2 weeks there because I went there to write a book. And I think one person said, and you wrote a book in 2 weeks. You know, and it was just like, can any of you imagine? I'm going, that is not what I wanted them to. Yeah, I couldn't take it back. It was done. Okay, here we go. The calories are 90 to 120. Wow. Saturated fat 0, total carbs 15 to 20 grams, sugar 0, total fiber 2 to 4. So net carbs are about 10 to 12. 10 to 15, depending on. But that's, oh, what, a cup, Jodi? A cup of, or is it, a couple of gallons? Hopefully. I like to think on the positive side, right? She probably means, a quart. Cup. Yep, that's why I'm pretty sure that you meant as well. Here we go. There are so many times I made you angry, upset, irritated, and tired. Today I was wanting to say that I'm thinking of continuing. Becca is asking what are net carbs. Okay, net carbs are really quite easy. Let me try and show you, Becca, because it's easier to show you. Okay. It took me a long time to understand this as well, so don't think that's, I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand it. Becca, think of it this way. Total carbs, what did she say? Total carbs are how many? 15 to 20. Let's say 20 grams, all right? The total carbs are 20 grams. Got it? But then she said fiber, which is a good thing. Now, it depends what country you're in as to how fiber is spelled. So use your own country's spelling. So difficult when I have to be multilingual. But the fiber was 2 to 4 grams. So let's take the 4 grams. Okay, so you got 20 total and 4 grams here. And if you take the good carbs away from the bad carbs, Becca, that would be 16 net. I think that is right, and Jodi will let me know if I screwed that up. Okay? So, does that make sense, Becca? 16 net carbs, 20 total, 4, subtract the fiber. Actually, I'm getting so good. Jodi taught me all this stuff. Okay. Now, and I think Beth to some degree as well. But obviously, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I didn't make it up. Somebody told me. Yeah. So it's the bad stuff, the total stuff, you take away the good ones, and that's what they call net carbs. So certain things are good for you, right? The same thing as, not all fats are bad fats. Some fats are really good fats. So you shouldn't take fat out of your diet, just, use the good fats, not the bad ones. Jodi, this is a mission accomplished. Boy, do I relate to this one. Let me know if anybody else does. I wasn't mad. But now that you've asked me 7 times if I'm mad, yeah, I'm mad. Love it. Well, Jodi's adding more information for those of you listening on the replay. Becca is being advised by Jodi that fiber doesn't impact your blood sugar. So you can subtract it from the total carbs. That's why you need to know about net carbs. You can take away the healthy things away from the things were healthy and they don't spike your sugar healthy. For those of us who are pre-diabetic or diabetic. Oh, this is cute. It said, I accidentally wore a red shirt to Target today, and the long story short, I'm covering for Debbie this weekend. It's happened to me so many times. I cannot tell you how many times I got, I used to, when I spoke, I used to have a brass name tag that I could just slip on, and it would give my name. And, but, it took me a while to find out that people thought I was a hotel employee in more than one occasion, And being me, I actually used to love that. They didn't know I was the keynote speaker for this big, this 3,000 people in the auditorium, and people are asking me to arrange tables and chairs and things, and I go, okay, fine. So you know me, I do it anyway. And then I'd get up to speak, and I'd go, for those of you sitting on the back 5 tables, whoever it was that asked me if I could arrange the extra tables, I hope you're happy because I had such fun organizing it. And by the way, I totally confused the hotel staff because they're trying to work out what I was doing, organizing, getting more tables and getting the chairs put in the right places. And you could see people going, but it was such fun to me. It used to be, I go, that was you, sir, wasn't it? I said, they paid me a fortune to come here, and it wasn't to arrange tables, but I really want to thank you because I had such fun. You see, I have power. You do understand that I could do that, right? I'm pretty certain that I'm pretty certain that you could understand that I could walk in. I'd go where it said, no employees only, and I go, we need 3 more tables for banquet room C. 3 rounds of 8, or if you can, 10. We're a bit short, and people are trying to get in. And people would react and go, okay, fine. Because you see, I could say it like I knew what I was talking about. And every now and then somebody'd say, who are you? I'd go, I'm the keynote speaker. They just flew me in from British Columbia. Hey, why are you organizing tables? Somebody asked me to. Somebody who doesn't know who I am asked me to, and I do like to do these things. If you love someone, let them go. If they come back with coffee, it was meant to be. Mission accomplished, Jodi. You see, that is Jodi's new thing, I think. It says, can she get me to laugh? If so, then this was a good catch. How many of you relate to this one? Only 6 hours, 45 minutes, and 35 years until I'm done with work. And this is the greatest thing about being retired, and I do want to tell you that. When I think about the things I love about being retired, it's here I am watching some sort of news program on my Roku television set. And I realize it's 12:30 and I've just finished one series. And there's that voice in my head that goes, you really should go to bed now, so. And I'm going, yeah, but I wonder how chapter 1 or episode 1 of the next series goes. And and I'm going, yeah, but if you watch episode 1, you know what's going to happen. And I'm going, but I am retired. I worked a lifetime for the right to do this. And I do it anyway. Okay, that's interesting. Niash is saying that's what happens when you're born professional while you're just paid to be one. Talking with authority is a natural skill. I want to tell you, it's not just talking with authority, Niasha. You have to walk with authority as well. All right. I used to do that demonstration to people when I went up on stage, and I'd be talking to them and I said, did you all notice how I walked on stage? And they'd be going, yeah. And I'm going, let me do it again, a different way for you. Right. Because, I would, walk, I'd be really straight and I, with purpose, would walk to the microphone and grab it and walk away. I never stood still, as you can imagine. But, I would grab the microphone and I'd start walking and talking and I'd be on a roll. You can imagine that. So then what I'd do is I'd say, hold on a second. And I'd come back. All these distractions won't help, but try and imagine this. And I'd come back with different body language, and I'd go, hello, my name is Sal, and I'm a dynamic speaker. You see, what I say to people is, you understand, if I walked up like that, how many of you are going to stay in the room? We're just like, so the whole thing about being a performer is to understand that the moment you enter that room, whether you're talking or not, you are on show. Right? And, as some of you have heard me tell the story many, many times before, the number of times I'd walk into the room and I'd sit at the back, if it was just, rows and rows and rows of people, and I'd sit at the back, I'd warn the organizers that that's where I was in case they wondered if I had run away or something. But I'd say, don't worry, I'm in the room. So when you introduce me, I'll come from the room. I'm not in the wings or anything. So just know that I'll come from within the audience. They go, okay, fine. So I'd sit at the back and I'd, all the body language in the world. And I'd go, yeah, how's the conference been so far? I came in late, I was busy on a business thing. And they go, oh, it's pretty good. And da-da-da. And I say, okay, fine. So what do we got next? Oh, yeah, we got Sal. And then I go, oh, is she any good? They say, well, apparently, she's the keynote speaker. And I said, oh, yeah, well, we'll sort that one out, won't we? We'll make our own judgments with that. And, I chit-chat, me, I'd be chit-chatting away. And then the place would quieten down because the person would come in and introduce this keynote speaker today and, read out the whole thing. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is Sal. And I'd go to the person I've been talking to, you have to forgive me. I need to just quickly go and work. And, I literally would get up and I didn't even bother to watch her reaction because you all know what her reaction would have been. I'd get up on stage and I'd go to the poor lady who was sitting next to me and I'd tell the story. Thank you. Thank you for being here in my life, because this was way more fun than standing in the side here waiting for that. And it was just like, and what I would 9 times out of 10 do, I'd say, by the way, ma'am, whoever you were, can you come and see me at the end if you have time, because I have a little present for you. And, I would literally thank her for making my day, because it wouldn't be funny if I hadn't talked to her. All right, so Niash is saying, here's an example. Whenever I go to the doctor's appointment, the person who is often taking care of me is often fascinated by my speech. They say I don't speak like a patient. Isn't that interesting? Yes, some people are advised, you might not look like an idiot, but please don't open your mouth and sound like one. All right. And that's the whole thing. If you're going to take control of a room of like 3,000 people, you better walk like you know how to control a room of 3,000 people, and you better speak like that. I find it really interesting. Once, I've told the story before, but, I literally went to some small little town to do a speech, and I was in a fairly nice room, but it was wide room rather than long. And if you notice that your voice travels this way, it doesn't travel that way. And so when I saw how wide it was, I knew I was going to spend my time with my back to some people some of the time if I was going to look them in the eyes. And so I said to the person who was the audiovisual guy, I said, could you do me a favor and get me a microphone? And he said, oh, well, we normally get pretty professional people here who don't need them. And I looked at him. I said, sir, I do a minimum of 52 international speeches a year. I think they call me professional. The reason I want a microphone is not because I don't know how to project my voice. It is because my voice is my income. And if I strain it in this room, trying to get backwards and forwards to both sides, then the next client that hears me speak will be paying the price of that because I will have strained my voice. By the way, sir, that next client is another province away, and it will be tomorrow morning for breakfast. Please do me a favor and get me a microphone. Really? Amel says, I don't know how to make conversation with somebody because I'm speechless and shy. Would you like to know how, Amel? He was trying to say that that proper speakers didn't need a microphone in that room. What I was saying, if I'm going to protect my voice, I am. Okay, Amel, has anybody had a conversation with you in your life that you found interesting? Has anybody engaged you in conversation? You see, because, yeah, think about what they asked you. So let's give you some questions that people here use when they want to get into conversation. By the way, if you are a shy person, the best thing to do when you walk into a room is look around the room and try and find another shy person. You'll be able to tell who they are because they'll look like you do. And the greatest thing is to be able to go up to them and say, hi, what is your name? Oh, you don't know how to talk to a boy? Is that your problem? Yeah, of course he insulted me on the down low. Yeah, sure. I wasn't offended. I just make sure he knew that it, or old people. Are you talking to me, Emil? I'm an old person and you're talking to me. So you know how to talk to old people. You ask them a question. All right? If you want to talk to anybody, ask them a question and shut up. Let them answer. So what sort of questions get people talking? Hi. If you notice, when a new person comes in that I don't recognize, one of the first questions I ask Emil, no, this is true whether it's face-to-face or on here, all right? The same thing, if somebody comes into the room and I don't think I know them, I'll go, hi, where are you from? How many times have you guys heard me say that to somebody? Why? I want them to tell me. By the way, Zion, Illinois. And I'm going, I haven't the foggiest idea where that is. So I don't pretend I know. I go, that's fascinating. Where is it? Is it north, east, south, or west of, where? And I now know. Somebody says to me, where's Zion, Illinois? You know what I'm going to say? 2 towns down from Wisconsin in the northeast. Yeah, I know how to answer it now. How many of you were quite impressed with that? You see, I retain that sort of knowledge. So anybody tells me anything about Zion, Illinois, and I'm going to say, isn't that town about 2 towns down on the northeast there, just below Wisconsin? People are going to go, what? You ask a question, right? With the biggest, by the way, Amel, if you can find it, download a book or read it online, however you do it, called How to Win Friends and Influence People. All right? How to Win Friends and Influence People. Very old book written by Dale Carnegie many years ago. But everything in there talks about how to start up conversations, how to get people talking, how to, hey, Amel, would you like me to do a broadcast about those sort of things? Because I think that's a topic maybe quite a few people would like. Not just Dale Carnegie, but, I'm busy reading a book at the moment, which is about how smart leaders ask smart questions. All right, so Jodi, if you can make a note, please. I'd like to do one on asking questions of people. Yeah, the bottom line, Amel, is the way you get people in conversation is you show interest in them. Hi. Have you been standing here for a long time? Right? If I walked into a room, now my problem is, Amel, that when I used to walk into a room, quite often the room would go quiet, right? Because I walk in like I own the room. I don't mean to. It's just the way I used to do it. So I'd have to sometimes, quietly creep into a room. And the worst thing, and you've probably heard me say this before, but I literally was shopping once in Costco. And from 3 aisles away, somebody said, Sal is in Costco. And I heard somebody say, who's Sal? And they said, you need to find Sal. And I could hear them running from aisle to aisle going, Sal, you here, you here. And then he saw me and he ran and gave me the biggest hug. It was, you would think I wrote this, I made this up, but I didn't. There was this customer busy in the same aisle as mine. And when that guy had finished with the big hug and it's so great to see you and it was just like something out of a TV show. He looked up and in all seriousness said, they sure didn't greet me like that. Who are you? I said, Sal. Yeah, so yes, so questions like, what do you do when you're not standing here against the wall? What are your hobbies? Good one. What's your favorite color? You see, there's so many questions, but I really recommend, Amel, Jodi, can you type this for me because it's difficult from this angle? How to win friends and influence people. Or somebody who's on a keyboard, because I think Jodi is on a great book. And I want to tell you that the information in that book still is relevant today, even though it's very old. How to talk to people so they feel valued. By the way, people, do you like to feel valued? Do you like to feel that somebody actually cares about you as a human? And how do you know that they do? They ask you questions. Thank you for the help, both of you. Both Jodi and Becca, thank you both for doing that for me. This is, when somebody asks you for a recipe, you go, actually, I made this with love. And that means that I licked the spoon and then carried on stirring. Nice one. A fisherman who just caught a huge salmon reels the fish in, looks at the fish and says, I'm taking you for tonight's dinner. And the fish replies, actually, I already ate. Can we go somewhere else? Sounds like a fishy story to me. Yeah, I totally agree with this next one, Jodi. This is definitely mission accomplished. Nutritional labels. All right. We were talking at lunchtime today about powdered cheese and cheese whiz and stuff, and I was reading the labels to show the difference. And all right, this says nutritional labels should include. What if I ate the whole thing? I don't want to know about 1 cup or one serving. By the way, one of the biggest challenges I had when I found I was pre-diabetic was to find out that one serving did not mean the whole packet. I was very upset about that. There were some things where I'm going, 3 crackers equals a serving? Who eats 3 crackers? Seriously. And I'd look at it going, that's a serving? Yeah, right. But I've learned. This is another one that you find out when you are pre-diabetic. All you have to know about celery is that it is made up of 95% water. And it's 100% not pizza. A very famous comic said, my wife dresses to kill, and she cooks the same way. Yeah, lordy. Not sure who said this, but the first time I saw a kiwi, I thought, wow, that's a potato with fur. And those recipes where it goes, preparation time, this and blah, blah, blah. Here's this one: making food 1 hour, eating food 20 seconds, washing dishes never ends. And is it here? Yeah. I want to tell you, if I'm going to say this again, if anybody out there makes their own bread, invest in one of these things. It's a silicone bread cooking cloche. Such a great name. But what is so wonderful about it? You mix the bread in here, you close it up and cover it up, and you let it rise in here. And then when it's done all of that, you open it up and, bash it down, and then close it down, let it rise again in here. And then you turn the oven on. And when the oven is hot, you put this into the oven, and then it cooks in here. And this is all you have to clean. I'm going to do next week, I'm going to show you how I make my bread, but really, it's just like one thing that you clean. It's amazing. Normally it's bowls upon bowls and, but ever since I've had this, it was like, wow. This has definitely got my name on it. This says, some people can eat anything they want and stay slim. I put on weight just by reading the recipe. I can remember being somewhere one time, and I said something about, I was talking about Weight Watchers, and I said, I've got the tapes. And they said, do they work? I said, no, not so far. And they go, oh, okay. Because, Weight Watchers used to have exercise tapes and things. And then I'd let the conversation die down a bit. And then I go, but I should mention that I've never actually taken the tapes out of the boxes and watched them. But just sitting in my bookcase, they don't work at all. No. People would look at me and go, "Are you serious?" I go, "Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen the Weight Watchers tapes. I got them. Do they work? I don't know." How many of you relate to that? I've also got Tai Chi, yoga. You know. I bought a calming tea. But you know, the smell and the taste is making me nervous. Thank you, Becca. Becca's saying you're an absolute nutsal, and I love you. Well, you can imagine, you know, you know, can you imagine if I get fed talking to you? Can you imagine what it was like if I had an audience of 3,000 people reacting? You know, you know, because the more they reacted, the more I would feed off it, and therefore I'd get funnier and funnier, and it was really quite something. All right, so hang on a second. Amel's saying, Mama Sal, I have another problem that I'm so lazy to study, and this year is my last senior year of high school. If I succeed, I'll go to university, but this year it's hard, and I have 3 months break because of the coronavirus, and next week I'll be going to school, just the student who likes to study like me, and the test next month, and I didn't study, but I want to, but I can't do it, and I don't know why. I can make this quite easy. Grow up, Emil. You know, 2x4. Grow up. If you want to pass the exam, study. There are no excuses for why you cannot study at the moment. You're just choosing to do different things. All right? I'm not going to be nice about it. Grow up. Decide, you know, decide whether you want to pass that exam. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? You know that I want to get my body moving again because you hear me talk about doing yoga. You hear me talk about I'm trying to get on my total gym. And in fact, I'm getting on my total gym, even though it's so painful for me to do that. And because you know I'm walking, because you know I'm doing things that tell you I am trying to get my body working. I'm not just saying, oh, I don't want to do it. It's a choice. I choose to try and get my muscles. I didn't realize how bad they've become. It's a choice I make every day, Emil. I have, you know, I literally have a list. By the way, I've been helping Lauren this year. Lauren decided to do a uni course, you know, go do a university course. And I said to her, do you want to complete it? Because she's doing it at home. And I said, do you want to complete it? And she said, yes. I said, good, then I will be your helper. You know, and I keep her on track. Every week I'm talking to her going, how are you doing with the course? Are you up to date or are you behind? Yes, and here you go as well, Jodi. Wonderful, right? Emil, Jodi's saying, Emil, I think the fact that you were so honest about admitting your problem tells us that you know what you need to do and you're ready to do it. You can put the work in. The question is, Emil, do you want to? Because you know, if you want to, you will do it. There'll be no excuses. Yes, I'd rather sit in the chair and watch some program on television, but I need to study. That's how the conversation will go in your head. I assure you, this morning I did not want to do yoga. Right? I quite honestly, Emil, that's not my idea of an erotic experience doing yoga. All right. But guess what? If I want my body to move again, I better start getting myself off this futon where I was sitting, working on my computer, and get up and start doing some yoga. And now every day it's part of my, you know, you get up in the morning, you automatically clean your teeth and you automatically wash your face or shower, do whatever you do every morning. You don't think about it, it's part of your routine. To me now, oh, by the way, mine starts with make the coffee, you know, first one. And then it's answer the emails and pay the bills while you're still half asleep. And then the second cup, I start doing the things that, anyway. But part of my routine now is early on in the day, do the yoga. And I only have to do 10 minutes. And some people will say, well, 10 minutes is not going to help. I need to do 30 minutes. I'm going, no, 10 minutes, because once I start doing it, I probably will do a bit more than 10 minutes, unless it's too hard. If it's too hard, then I'll only do 10 minutes. But I do know something else, that if I keep doing 10 minutes a day, I'll be able to do more. Some of you will relate to this one. Waiting until the movie starts to eat your popcorn is the hardest thing in the world. Are you asking me, is it too late to start studying and doing whatever? I'm in my last year in senior high school. If I succeed, I'll go to university. It's possible. But you know something? I know people that have done what you've done and then worked their hearts out and got through. So it's your choice. Depends how much studying you want to do. But you know, if you don't get into university, it won't be because of anything other than the fact that you didn't study hard enough. Don't blame anything else. Promise me that. Well, you know, I didn't have enough time, You know, promise me you will not blame anything else. If you don't get into uni, you make sure that your answer is, I'm studying again because I realized I did not study enough. I had too many excuses. You see, you don't have to promise us, Amel. It doesn't, quite honestly, if I tell you the truth, it doesn't make any difference to our lives whether you go to uni or not. Do you understand that? But it matters to you. So what happens is you don't have to be a people pleaser and make us happy. Make yourself happy. You know how you're going to beat up on yourself. By the way, Amel, just so you know, I studied to become a radio ham very early, when I was young. And I took the exam and I missed it by this much. You know, I studied for another 6 months. Most people didn't even bother to do it again. You know, the pass rate on that particular exam was nationally was insane. They only passed about 20% of the people who took the exam. And I missed it by this much. You know, I was literally about 5 points off. It wasn't even 15, it was like 5 points off, and they didn't pass me. And part of me wanted to complain, and I went, I didn't get enough marks. End of story. And so what I did was I immediately reapplied to take it again. And I worked my heart off the 6 months to make sure that I did enough studying. And by the way, when I passed it, Emil, I passed it by this much, but I passed it. It was just like, yep. Nobody has ever asked me what score did you get? No, it's just I became a radio ham when I wanted to become one. But nobody ever asked me, how well did you do in the exam? Think about that. I just got in. I was one of the 20% that took the exam that passed it. All right, so Mel says, because if I succeed, I will finish my study in another city, the place I want to be in. That's called motivation, Mel. That's motivation. I can remember once in my life I was studying, and I knew that if I got to a certain level, I would pass this course. And at the time, I was going out with a multimillionaire. I don't mind telling you that. I was young, but I was actually going out with a multimillionaire. And I remember being told that if I passed the course, then I could go and visit. And it was the funniest thing. Boy, was that motivation for me. And I actually went to the dean of the college I was at and said, okay, now we need to change the rules a bit here. And he's going, what? And I said to him, got to understand that if I pass the course, I get to go to North Africa and visit, and he's going, are you serious? I said, yeah. So I said, I need you to help me here. I need to study everything, and I need to study much more than everybody else. And I need you to help me, to tell me how to do this. The guy just shook his head and he's saying, you're going to do all of this just so you can see some guy? And I said, yeah, it's called motivation. And believe you me, I am motivated. So help me here. And he did. I don't think anybody had ever come to him with that motivation, but that was it. This one definitely some of you will relate to as much as I do. Every time we try to eat healthily, along comes Christmas, Easter, summer, Friday, Tuesday, or anything else that ruins it for us. For me, it's midnight. I don't know why. I seem to do fine until midnight. And then at midnight, the carb fairies come out and go, can we eat carbs now, please? Interesting. Becca's asking me a fascinating question. Any part in my life that is boring? I would say yes, Becca. But you probably understand me well enough to know that I try and get entertained by the boring bits. The washing is not, an exciting thing in my life. But, I'm always doing experiments. You know what I mean? It's like, I try to see how much I can, Becca, I think the washing is a good example. Okay. Because what I will do is I will go, okay, I'm putting the wash in the washing machine. Yeah, the washing powder, everything else, boom, hit the button. And now I challenge myself. Can I go out, drive my Jeep and charge that battery, which, likes to go flat on me? Can I get out there, do 20 minutes charging the battery and get back and make a cup of coffee before the wash finishes? You see, that's how I make life interesting, Becca. And that's how I get so much done, is because I'm always having these little competitions with myself. All right. So though I understand what you're saying, Becca, and I know it's another compliment, but you understand, I make my life interesting. I make my life funny. I make my life challenging. I am responsible for how happy I am, not the world. And you, Jodi and I, we've called plants things, right? We got Tommy the tomato and Ben the bean, and we've even got the Worm Motel, as you know, out in the back garden here. But Jodi gave the Worm Motel. It's called the Wormington Hotel. So when I drop a note to Jodi to let her know I'm going out of the house, so she, I will go. Now it's a case of I'm off to the Wormington to feed the worms here. So that makes life interesting. To me, life is as interesting as you make it. People are as interesting as you make them. All right. I just got this incredible couple of emails from somebody because she wanted to thank me for getting her into university, med school. And I wrote back and said, thank you very much for the kind words, but I didn't get you into university. You did. And she said, yes, but you gave me the confidence. You taught me the tricks of the trade. You taught me how to go through the interview and be noticed. And I said, yeah, but you could have chosen to just absolutely worry yourself sick that day and not do the things that we talked about, and you would not have got in. You see, you kept it together and you did what needed to be done. I just flapped my lips and you listened. And then you used what I taught you. I said, you did it. Thank you for thanking me. And I said, you know, the other thing is I'd like to mention, somebody gave you my name. And I said, it would be really good if you contact them and let them know how much you appreciated that fact. And I wrote to that person as well. And I said, you know, I just want to tell you, thank you. And then she wrote back to me and said, yeah, I want to thank you for getting her into university. And I wrote back and said, no, we did, not me. If you hadn't given her my name, she probably wouldn't be in university. So don't think that it's all me. It's like you gave her the name. So it's we. And so, and now you're going to be as good as you want to be. I want to tell you something, Emil. There are some people that would really do the work now and still get in, even though they're late in starting. I don't know how smart you are to start with. I don't know how well you retain information. But the truth is, what I think I heard you say, it started to get difficult, so you lost interest. Well, life gets difficult. Are you going to do that with life? Every time it gets difficult, you're just going to, you know, disappear, go into hiding? Because if so, I wouldn't recommend it as a coping mechanism. Inshallah, indeed. Inshallah, indeed. By the way, do you want to hear a cute story about? I walk into a pharmacy locally here, and there is a guy in the pharmacist is wearing a name tag. Pen, Sal, pen. And the name tag is, okay. And so I walk in and I say, Ahmed, nice to meet you, da 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 da. And his assistant says that's not his name. His name, oh, it's an H. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll spell it correctly. Thank you for the correction. So she said, it's not his name. His name is Ahmed. And I said, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. His name is Ahmed. And she looked at him and said, but you told me it's Ahmed. And he said, yeah, because not many people can say Ahmed. You see, I knew it would make you laugh. And so the lady that worked with him said, why did you tell me the wrong name? And she said, how did you know how to pronounce it? I said, that's called being well-traveled, lady. But you know, you also know, Amal, that the moment I called him Ahmed, his smile went from ear to ear, right? So I'm not going to be kind to you about why you're going to hit problems or for whatever reason you have had to not do the studying. You see, that was yesterday. The only thing I'm interested, Amal, is what are you going to do between now and when you take that exam? Because when the studying gets hard, if you go, oh, well, I'm not going to pass it anyway, and you quit, then you will know that you didn't want to go to university. But if the studying gets hard and you go, who do I know that's good at this? I need to phone them and find out what this is about. That means that you want to go to university. I would, if I were you, I would work out who I've got that is really smart on this stuff that you find hard and say, I need to pick your brain. I need you to teach me some of this because I'm really struggling. And I need you to teach me in a way that I'm going to retain it. By the way, Amal, do you know the way to retain information? This is a trick that I used to teach people how to pass exams. And not because I am smart, but because I know how to pass exams now. And here is the thing. Are you creative anyway, Amal? Are you creative? Good. Do you know what a mind map is? Good. All right. What I used to teach people, Amal, was how to draw the picture. Don't worry if you don't know what a mind map is. Okay. I would take students that were failing exams and get them passing with A+ in one semester. And the way I did it, Amal, was I would take anything that they needed to learn and I would draw the picture with them. Okay? And it didn't matter what the subject was, whether it was geography, whether it was biology, whatever the subject was. And what I would do is I would draw the history, anything. I would draw the picture. So you want me to give you a demonstration? Okay. So, for example, in 1066, the people in England, that's a bad picture of England, were invaded by whom? Do anybody know? Well, let's do American history. It's better. I don't know American history, but let's do it with American history. Maybe that will work better. You're in Tunis, right? I think, Emil, if I've understood correctly. Anyway, but what you do is when you get the facts, draw the picture. So what subject are you struggling with the most? I could take children, I'm not joking, I could take failing grade children and work with them over one holiday between 2 semesters and completely change the way in which, enough that the teachers would come to me and say, what on earth did you do? that this student was failing and now is asking me, has moved from the back of the class to the front because they're so fascinated with this subject. Okay, so science, what I want you to do as an experiment, please, Amal. This week, when you're studying, draw the picture. Take this chapter on science and draw the picture of this chapter. Every chapter has got major bits in it that you are going to need to remember. All right? True? And what I want you to do is to draw the picture. Don't just highlight it. Draw the picture of that chapter. Do you know why? Because when you go into an exam, you're going, that's chapter 18. And you will immediately see the whole chapter in a picture in your brain. Not if you do the picture. If you do the picture and draw it and keep it, And then every day, just keep flipping through the pictures, or just say, okay, I need to now do another picture of this chapter. Okay, turn that over, draw it again. You know it's going to work, don't you? And if you keep forgetting you haven't drawn the picture enough times, keep drawing it. Exciting? It's a pleasure, honey. Becca, by the way, I want to thank you. I did see in the middle of all of that you very kindly made a donation. And Jodi, I just want to thank you for doing that. I also wanted to update everybody and let you know that we tested out Google Meetings, works beautifully, but we found out that it will only be free until September. But until September, we will keep doing the odd test on it, so everybody can learn about it. And the next one we're going to do is tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock Pacific time, whatever that time is, wherever you live. Okay. We also found out that what was the other one? What was the one that was going to cost $15 a month? Oh, Zoom. Zoom will no longer be free. I'm not sure when, but it's going to be $15 a month for one person. The thing about Google Meeting is it's going to be everybody that wants to use it will have to pay $6 a month. Zoom, only the person who runs the room will have to pay $15 a month. Now, in the old days when I was earning money, that was not a problem. Today, every $15 I have to pay is $15 out of my pension. So, that is more difficult for me. So what I want you to understand is we're still looking. Facebook now has started yet another one, which we are still playing with. And as soon as we've done enough tests on it that I can work with it pretty well, then we'll also do a test on that one. And we will occasionally do these meet and greet type things where you can see people if you want to. And I'll try and make them at different times. I can't remember. Maybe Jodi can remember, Nyesha. But I'm certain if you Google it, you'll get the answer. And maybe it's also in the fall. I don't know. But I understand that they're going to be charging the person who runs the room $15 a month to have a Zoom room. But at the moment, the Facebook one is free as well. So we're trying to test them all and get everybody comfortable with them all. I actually think that they may not do the paid thing because there will be an uproar at the moment with the virus thing. Today is the last day of Ramadan. All right, so that, for those of you who don't know the significance of the last day of Ramadan, that means that Amel has been fasting from sunrise to sunset. For how long, Amel? And the only thing that that's allowed to pass her lips during Ramadan is water. And I always think it's so cruel that they do that in the summer, right? When it's so hot, and it always seems to be, when I say in the summer, but it's like the days are long, and so my reality is, well done for making it through from 3:30 in the morning until 7:15 in the evening. No food. That is fasting. That is sort of Jodi level fasting, right? And then the thing is that you eat like an idiot and then you're scared to go to sleep because when you wake up, you're going to be When you wake up, you're going to be fasting again. So, Amel, well done. Congratulations. And I know your body appreciates, you know, um, I admire anybody that can go through Ramadan, really. You know me, I've been trying to find a way out of that one. All right, so Jodi's saying, I can't find it. It's saying $15 currently. Oh, Zoom is $15, are you saying? Of course it's healthy. Do you know the funny thing is, if you had asked me a year ago, Amel, whether I would consider fasting 16 hours a day, I would tell you, go take a hike. Today, I didn't have any food until after the first broadcast. That was 2 o'clock, after 2 o'clock, and that was liquid. And then since then, I have had one piece of bread. And it is now 9 o'clock at night. Oh, I lie. I did have a salad. Yeah, I did have a salad. But you know, it's like it's just a different way of eating. It's a different way of eating, and my body is definitely feeling better for it. You know, and eventually the weight will come off because it's just getting used to the changes. So, Emil, I'm very proud of you. And I hope you'll forgive me for hitting you straight between the eyes with the reality of being an adult, which is you want to pass that exam, do the work, honey. Don't give me any excuses because the excuses will not help you get into university. All right? And I love you enough to tell you that. I love you enough not to treat you like a 3-year-old. I love you enough to treat you like an adult. And I want you not to let yourself down. Please. You come back to me. Thank you. You come back to me, Emil, and say, I worked my heart out and I really did the best I could and I still didn't make it. I will say, try again. All right? Well done. Try again. You see, I'm only asking that you do your best. And you can have all the excuses in the world, but you are the one that knows that. If I said to you, Emil, think about it this way. Emil, if I said, if you get into university, we're going to pay you $1 million. Okay? Do you think that that would motivate you? How hard would you work if you knew that if you did enough work and that you got in, that you would get $1 million? You see, that's what I do to myself. When I don't want to do the yoga, because it's going to hurt me, all right? I say to myself, if they paid you $1 million to go do it, do you think you could do 10 minutes? I went, of course I could. Then get off your ass. So. Okay, Jamie, I hope you enjoyed your Zoom call. I'm about to leave. We've had a lot of fun today. And at the beginning, we learned how to make, just so you know, Jamie, at the beginning, we learned how to make your own dishwashing taps. So in case you wanted, it's at the front end of that. Jamie, thank you for all your help. Oh, Jamie, you're our expert on this, I think. Jamie, when is Zoom charging $15 now and going to be changing it, or is that going to stay? Sorry, I forgot that you are our expert at this stuff. You're our research person on this. Inquiring. All right, it's not yet. Jodi, I hope you'll forgive me for not doing the countdown. I was on a roll, and you know when I'm on a roll, I have to stay focused or else I will lose track. And Amel to me was more important than any countdown, quite honestly. Okay. And I know that you worked that out. And it's not that I meant to ignore your kind reminder. And we'll do it again on Sunday. Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So Jamie's saying they haven't charged it yet for you, for Zoom yet. Okay. All right. So excellent, Jamie. Yeah, I think you'll find it interesting. And next week we're going to be doing washing powder, how to make your own washing powder. And Beth is going to help us, and we're going to do both regular and HE washing powder, depending on what sort of machine you've got. We're going to start learning a whole lot about how to do a lot more with a lot less of everything. And that's very exciting to me. I love you all. And Mel, keep us informed. Keep telling the truth, because that's how we can help you. All right. That's the whole thing about Dear Mama Sal helps people cope with love life and other problems, because we start talking about the truth. All right. We're not interested in all the excuses. We're interested in what are you going to do about it. All right. And that is the difference between being a child and being an adult, in my view. So well done. Get the help you need. And by the way, if you go, but I don't know anybody who can help me, ask somebody who will know. They say we're all 5 people away from the answer, ML. All right. You might not know, but maybe your Aunt Frida knows somebody who knows somebody. You know, you're 5 telephone calls away at most. So this is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you all for being here. Jodi, particularly thanks to you for putting all those fun quotes together. We laugh every Friday evening, and I love you for it. You do a great job. But it also makes me happy to know how much you must laugh putting them together, because I can almost feel the ones where you're going, oh, Sal's going to love that one. Niasha, thank you for all your notes to me this week. I hope that you keep asking the questions, and I will continue to help where I can. Have a lovely day, evening, or night. It is now 9 o'clock at night here in southern British Columbia. Keep up the good work. I will if you guys keep coming to listen. I assure you that. We'll see you on Sunday. It's 5 a.m., of course, in Tunis, right? That's a long way away, but it's on the Mediterranean. Any time in the Mediterranean is beautiful. All right, everybody, a big hug. We'll see you on Sunday. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, please look after one another. Wrong one, right? I need to close this one first. And there's a reason why I have to close this one first. But most of all, please remember to look after yourself. To you all, cut the excuses, just do what you need to do. And bye-bye for now. Maybe not. I've got to hit the right buttons. Bye.